Hello, I'm Andrea Jones with TractionTank, and I'm here today with co-founder Eric Morrow. Eric is an expert in digital marketing for startups and teaches digital marketing, product design, and market traction testing at prominent U.S. and international accelerators, including General Assembly and Google in New York City, Hubba in Bangkok, and Le Campagne in France. He's also the author of Digital Marketing for Everyone and the Lean Accelerator. Hello, Eric.
Hey there.
All right, so product market fit testing. So why is product testing so important to entrepreneurs?
I think it's really important because one of the key problems that early stage startups have is that they build things that people don't particularly want to use. And so they suffer because they can't find customers. And so product testing becomes a great way of saying, are we building something that somebody wants? And at the beginning, it's, does anyone care about what we're doing at all? But then as time goes along, it's, do we have the right features in place? Are we building the features in the proper order? Do we have enough that people can give us feedback on the product? And so it gets more and more specific as the startup progresses, and it really makes sure that entrepreneurs are building products and services that their customers care about and will actually want to use.
Great. So why is the conventional wisdom about launching new products just plain wrong?
I think a lot of, I don't know if I would say it's completely wrong, but I would say a lot of the conventional wisdom says follow your heart or build something that you yourself would use, which is fine, but it requires a lot of luck to get things to work. And as we know, a huge amount of startups fail. And some of them fail just because it's not the right time, or maybe the product was too hard to build, or maybe people wanted it, but it was too expensive. That's fine. But here at TractionTank, we believe a lot of these startups fail is because they're building something that no one will ever want to use. And so if the conventional wisdom is build a product and then show it to customers and hope they like it, at TractionTank, we say, talk to your customers, make sure they want something, prove it by taking funding from them or taking pre-orders from them or getting them to sign up on an email list, some indication of interest, and then start building. But even once you start building, you're not done with the customers. You don't go lock yourself in a room and then come back 6 months later using the same cadence that you did for testing for customer development. You'll keep using that same weekly or bi-weekly cadence to test your product with the customer to make sure that you're continually building something that people care about. I think what's interesting is something that people care about one week might change by the next week. So rather than spending too much energy developing things that no one will ever want to use, you keep staying focused by checking in with your customer as you go along.
Great. So you're basically saying the old, if you build it, they will come is not really appropriate these days.
I would say it spends a little too much energy on luck, and I want to make sure, I want to increase the hit rate of startups that succeed, and if startups can be more flexible and less wedded to their idea and instead follow the customer where they want to go, it'll be better off and then build it and they will come.
What are the common myths and misconceptions about product market fit?
I would say maybe the biggest myth is that it's a one and done, right? Oh, well, we found someone who's interested, so we have product market fit. I would say for most startups, until you hit a point where you can rapidly scale, you're working on product market fit constantly. And so while it's exciting to get off the ground and find some people who are interested and find someone who's willing to pay for a pilot, for example, that's not the end of your work. And that entrepreneurs who are willing to stay really flexible about what product market fit means and whether or not they have it, and not just say, put a line in the sand and say, we're done, we have product market fit, but continually innovate to match what their customers are asking for, what their customers need, will be able to succeed.
What are the typical objections you receive when you're introducing a new startup to these concepts and for the first time, and how do you overcome these objections?
Yeah, I would say the number one objection I get is, well, the customer doesn't really know what they want, or quoting Henry Ford, if I'd asked the customer what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. And kind of in line with that is they say, well, the customer needs to be educated about my product, or the customer needs to see my complete product before they understand that they want it. And I think all those things are wrong. I think that in order to build something that someone truly wants, you have to constantly check in with them to make sure what you're building makes sense. I think if Henry Ford had been sincere in that quote, he would have realized when he asked people what they wanted and they said a faster horse, what they really meant was, I want to get from place to place faster. And so if we could build something that went faster than the horse, then they would all upgrade, which they clearly did because we all drive cars now. So I think when I get these objections, I often say, if you want your startup to succeed, it's going to eventually replace something, a problem that people are solving now in a different way. So for example, I used to stand on the street corner and wave my hand for a cab, or I'd call up a cab company and just hope they showed up. But now I use Uber. And so if I want to overcome these objections, I say, if you really want to work with people and build something that they're going to want, you can hope and pray and say, yes, I'm going to spend all this energy building something and that education will work. But it's very rarely the case. It's much better if you can find folks who say, yes, this is something I need and I'm willing to work with you to develop the product, because then you know it's really important to them.
How did you arrive at your solution to these problems?
I would say that the same way that I advocate for the startups I work with, which is I iterated on them. So I've been working with startups in one form or another for about 4 or 5 years now, mostly through digital marketing classes at General Assembly and at other startups and accelerators around the world. And by witnessing startup after startup and company after company basically have the same exact problem, which is, well, we have this product, but no one seems to want it. I say, well, it's because you built it without talking to your customers at all. So then how do we get people to move from their natural instinct, which is build and they'll come, to where they can start talking to their customers at the beginning and build something that people will want to use? It's just been practice. So I would teach a class, get feedback from the students, hear about their experience over the next couple of months using the solutions I suggested for them. And through that have constantly iterated and developed, where now I think it's a pretty effective technique informed by a lot of best practices in the marketplace. And my goal is just to keep iterating. So as we get startups working with TractionTank and testing out our methodology, we'll continue to get better.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.